Wow. Dirty South morning. It's foggy out here. Beautiful. We are so lucky. Every year, weather is so good for this. I'm so excited. I brought the villain with me. Southern Illinois cycling. Yeah. Totally blowing the neutral start. Okay, I busted through. Well, my GoPro didn't cooperate. I think it may be time to replace it. Every video clip froze a few seconds in. But luckily, my friend Matt Johnston volunteered to shoot photos and took some really amazing shots, so you won't have to look at my face through this entire recording. The Dirty South Roubaix, it's a 63-mile race on lots of gravel. It's got 3,700 feet of climbing, lots of tough gravel hills. Every year it gets both bigger and more competitive. It's the biggest cycling event in Southern Illinois and probably the biggest cycling event in the whole tri-state region, really, when it comes to like actual numbers involved and stuff. But for the last several years, the first several years, I volunteered. I helped out. I did a lot of different things, but mainly I took a lot of photos and videos. And I was just, I mean, I wanted to do the race, but I didn't think that would be a good thing for me to do. I'm not really a racer or anything. I was like, I can't race. I'm too fat. I'm too slow. So I decided to try out the race. So I decided, you know what, I've done enough volunteering. I want to try the race out. So I've done it 3 times. Each time until this time, I had some kind of sickness, some kind of problem, some kind of issue. In 2021, I couldn't even do the race. I got sick. I bailed out. Because I had the flu a day before and I was just too tired. In 2022, I lost my water bottle, and I didn't have enough to drink. I didn't sag anything, so I wasn't prepared. I bonked really bad and just really suffered. And in 2023, I had a flat tire that I couldn't fix, and that flat happened right at the end of the course and pretty much cost me about 25-30 minutes of time and messed up my time pretty bad. So the last 2 years, I was close to my goal, though. I was close to finishing under 5 hours. I thought 5 hours was a good time for me. Generally, whenever I've done this as just like a ride in the past, it always seemed to take 5 or 6 hours, and I thought, well, for a race, I should be able to be faster than when I'm just going for a ride. Everything fell into place this year, and I finished in 4 hours and 26 minutes, which is a time I'm very happy with, even though it's not really that good, but it's good enough for me. It was an incredible day in March for a race. It was unseasonably warm. There was a heavy fog because it replaced my sunshine, but it had just this crazy awesome vibe at the start of the race of riding up into the mountains with this fog. The winds were light. It was just so perfect. And this guy early in the race, he looked out over the Bald Knob Cross. It was just rising out of the fog atop a Bald Knob, and he announced to everybody, he goes, "That right there, that is the spirit of gravel." And it was kind of cheesy, but at the same time, it was awesome. It was awesome. It was the spirit of gravel. So I refuse to spend much money on gravel bikes and really bikes in general, but especially gravel bikes because I don't do that much gravel riding. I like road, I like mountain, I like gravel too, but like it's not. I might do maybe 10 gravel rides a year. So I have a pretty nice bike. It's just kind of heavy and anyway, but when it comes to tire size, I just never could understand why people were riding such big tires with low pressures. When I started riding gravel back, 15 years ago or more, I was riding on 28s and I 28 like touring tires. And I see these guys, pretty much running mountain bike tires now, and they've got, like the Dirty South, half of it's paved road. I mean, I was like, I don't need tires that big and aggressive for paved roads, and I want to ride what's going to be fastest on the whole course. I did a few years. I had a set of 35 millimeter Gravel King SKs, and I had tubes because I couldn't get tubeless to work with my bike for a long time. And with those Gravel Kings, I really had maybe just 1 or 2 flats in years. They were really, really good tires, and they seemed, just perfect. But I ran pretty high pressure probably compared to most people. I was running like 55, 60 in those. Last year, I replaced the back tire, it wore out, and I got a 32 Gravel King, but not the SK, like the sort of almost like a file tread version that's just called the Gravel King. And I had flats in the back, both gravel races I did last year. So that tire just could not hold up, apparently, to my gravel riding. I decided this year I was going to go with more modern setup, so I got me a 43 Gravel King SK up front, pretty big tire. To me, it seems like a big tire, and I got a 38 in the back. The 38 was a Specialized Trigger Pro that my good buddy Michael Norris had given me because he wanted something even bigger. But that Trigger Pro, they're known to have really good flat protection, and the tire was brand new, and I was like, well, it's good enough for me. So what I finally noticed was, with these bigger tires and much lower pressure, I ran like 35 in the front and 40 in the back. I had tubeless as well. I got tubeless working on the bike really easily. We just got to set up right. I had better speed, better control, better comfort. I think it was a big improvement for the overall ride, much, much better than last year. So I went back and forth on taking my Camelback or buying a lightweight racing vest. I kind of, sometimes you get this idea you need to buy something. So I thought that USWE, I guess USWE Outlander pack would be perfect, because I was like, nobody really carries Camelbacks anymore. And I have a Rogue. It's not like a very big Camelback. The Rogue was probably the most popular Camelback for a long time. And, it's kind of like pretty minimal. It's a 72-ounce bladder, I think. And it's not huge, it's not heavy, it's got several little pockets, but it's definitely not one of those like super tight racing vest things. And I don't wear it that much anymore. I used to wear it all the time, but even on mountain bike rides, I just don't take it that much. I felt, I was like, oh, this thing's too heavy, it's uncomfortable, I don't need to carry all that extra water. But I decided to take it, and I'm super glad. It was a huge benefit. I barely noticed it was on. Once I got used to it being on, and I just never really noticed it was on there, and I never had to refill my bottles, which means that like for the entire ride, I was only off my bike for 2 minutes. I made one like pee stop, and I made like one stop just to grab the Camelback actually. It was just way more comfortable to drink from it on the rough roads, at gravel sections and stuff, and so I drank more. And I put Liquid IV in the hydration pack, and that probably was a benefit. I was fighting cramps like at the end of the race. I never actually cramped, but I knew if I pushed a little bit hard, I would. A lot of people were telling me that cramping was lots. A lot of people cramped on this ride, had to stop, get off their bike, and relax their legs and stuff. I was also slamming down bananas and gummy bears for the whole ride and keeping my stomach energy levels up, and my stomach never gave me any trouble. So one mistake I made was to wax my chain. My drivetrain was running perfectly, but I decided to go for this marginal gain of a dipped wax chain. And I've done this before with no problems. I've done it on mountain bikes, gravel bikes, road bikes, and it's always worked fine. I waxed my chain, I put it on, I rode around the neighborhood, and everything seemed fine. On race morning, it would barely shift. I should have just squirted some liquid wax lube on there, but I didn't bring it, and I didn't have time to find any. So I knew it just didn't want to shift. It was like the drivetrain was really, really smooth. Like it felt like I had this super buttery smooth chain, probably a lot of efficiency too. But shifting was just like, it just struggled to come out. I had to like shift double to get it to move. It got better after about an hour, but at the bottom of Dump Truck Hill, you quickly transition from like a super fast downhill to climbing, and I was dumping a bunch of gears and ended up popping my chain off. Luckily, I was able to get it back on pretty quick. Probably just lost 30 seconds altogether, but it still didn't even shift good really at the end of the ride. So I kind of wish I'd just put lube on it. I don't think that wax maybe save me 15 seconds or something if it's like save me a few watts. But anyway, I just want to say how awesome it's been to see this event grow, and especially thank the volunteers. They bring so much to the race. Mo does such an awesome job. Pat and Jason, they really make this race the awesome event that it is, and I'm looking forward to next year already. I don't know if he can add. It was 750 this year, I think. I don't think he can add anyone else to this thing. I think it was pretty close to maxed out. Parking, It looked like there was no big issues with it, but I mean, it was full. So if you want to do the Dirty South next year, don't put it off. Get registered quickly, and I'll see you there.